Well, good morning. I am honored to be here. Where is Representative Mathiak? I got a $200 check going to the youth. I just want to up it, so I was going to let you do that. So wherever the youth is, come get the check when you get a chance, and I'll give that to you as far as that. Raise it. Do I have three? We'll get that. But
don't put that back in your
pocket. Okay, don't put that. Okay. I'm going to make it. Where's Miriam? Okay, come on. You can get it now. All right.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Very good.
Big blessing.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm standing. This started off when they asked me to speak. You know, there was a few, and we got Representative Brian Jack, and I'm kind of going, wow. And then day before yesterday, I made the decision that I was going to support Mike Collins, and I saw Mike Collins here, and I said, wow. I'm hoping that the same endorsement will help Mike Collins that helped Brian Jack, and I want to thank him. I want to say just a couple things. First of all, my wife Debbie, she's my sounding board, and sometimes she says no to the things that I say. But I am grateful for her, and also we're grateful to God. She's had some health issues, and she's back with us, and I'm just grateful to her for all that she does for me. And so I say thank you. If you can give her a big hand, she needs that. Also, we have a guest from Coweta County that I had. Gene Vineyard is 86 years old.
I'll be 87 September 1.
Hey, September. And he and I were talking, and I told him about the event, and he says, I'll come. So we're bringing in Coweta County as well into our process from that standpoint and doing that. And I felt like with Mike and with Brian here, you know, I'm like the old guy who entered his jackass in the Kentucky Derby. You know, and they asked him, said, do you think he can win? He says, no, I don't think he can win, but he says, I think the association will just do him a lot of good. So I kind of feel that way about me in that respect. We have, I want to say this, Georgia and our nation has had a phenomenal move in what's happened in the last, since November, it started, I mean, as far as that. But I want to share one quick story that I have to give Brian Jack the credit for. He allowed me to meet the President of the United States. Wow. That was an honor, and I thank you for that. But I want to share just what I was able to say. I was sitting there, and I said, what do you say to the President? Is that fair? And here's what I believe the Lord gave me. I said, sir, I believe in the sovereignty of God. Yes. And I believe that the hand of sovereignty has protected you on at least 2 occasions that we know about. Yeah. And I believe for such a time as this, God has called you to be our president to lead us out of this mess that we're in. Yes. And I looked at him and I said, sir, I want to personally thank you for doing what you're doing because you don't have to do what you're doing. And that's the part where we do not realize he doesn't have to put up with it, but you know what? He does. And I am excited. I believe this. I have to tell this. I had somebody that was kind of anti-President Trump. And he said, well, you think he's Jesus. I said, no, I don't think he's Jesus. I said, I think he's Samson, and he can kill 10,000 people with a jawbone of an ass. So you know, you kind of see the things going on as far as that. We have been blessed with this. We have a phenomenal governor. We have a phenomenal lieutenant governor, and we have a phenomenal speaker. Our Speaker of the House. Speaker Burns, they have been fantastic, and we could not get done what we have gotten done if we did not have conservative leadership that has led us from that standpoint. And a couple of things. It's funny. I know Mike. I don't know if Mike here or gone, but I looked at this. In 22, I had Saving Girls Sports, and was trying to get it done. And here's what I would say: you have to keep pushing until you get what you need to get done. It takes a consistency and a pushing to get it done. But in 22, they were going, you're mean-spirited. I said, no, I'm not. And it's funny, I was with the National Soccer League, and this gal that's probably 130 pounds did not want to play soccer against a guy that was 260 pounds. She said, I'm going to get hurt. I said, wow. But let me give you just a couple of things that Georgia has done, and you may or may not. We had a phenomenal session on tort reform, and that was pushed by our governor. And our governor did a really good job in moving tort reform, and it is the change that needs. Georgia was the #1 judicial hellhole in the country as far as legal issues and what's going on and the things that were happening. And we made a move on it, not all that we needed to. We did tax relief. The tax relief, you get $1 billion back. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to try to do. I won't be liked for it, but I'm going to tell you this. I believe there ought to be a rule that as you take, so shall you give back. Follow what I'm going to say. You got $500 if you were a family, $250 if you were an individual. Well, if you paid $10,000 and I paid $1,000 and I get $500 and you get $500, I get 50% of my money back and you get 5% of your money back. That's a redistribution of wealth. And I don't think that's right. I think as you take it, so should you give it back. And I'm going to work towards that because I believe that's a right way to do things. The things that we got passed, we've made a move on school choice. What happens when young people, children, are in schools that are failing? Their parents should have the right to move their children to a school that will teach them and be a good place for them. And we've made a move on that. We need to do more, but that passed as far as that. Religious liberty. We've got religious liberty. That was worked on. Josh McCoon worked on it 11, 12 years ago. He and I worked on it 5 or 6 years ago. We finally got that through. And that's important because it raises the standard of government overseeing and passing laws on religious institutes. And we need that. School safety, we've done things there, lawsuit reform, and girls' sports we passed along with what's happened at the federal level. So we've made some movements as far as that portion, and for that I am very, very grateful. I want to talk about a couple of things, and I'll say this. Burt Jones did a great job. Burt allowed us as the Senate to send things over to the House that, I'll be honest with you, no other lieutenant governor has been willing to let us do. And we passed good legislation that went to the House. I have one bill that's sitting out that I am hoping will go, and I'll just share this with you. And it's a bill dealing with DEI. Don't know what DEI is? Let me tell you a little bit real quick. What this does is it removes funding to colleges that have DEI courses in them. Now, the University of Georgia had 20 pages of DEI material on their website. When we announced it, guess what happened? It disappeared. I have copies if you want. I downloaded the PDFs. But we need to push that and make sure, because it goes underground from that standpoint, but we need to address the DEI. They told us we couldn't do that to private schools. You know what? That's state money that belongs to the Georgia taxpayers that we control. And I would say this, just because they tell you no, doesn't mean you listen to them, because what you have to do is take it through. And President Trump has shown us that the Supreme Court, he's pushed and he's been seeing that he was right. And I think that's the kind of thing that we have to push for. Yeah. But that bill we're going to take it's out of the Senate and into the House from that standpoint. I've got a couple of things I just want to share early on. I have to tell you my other part, working politics and working separation of church and state. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. There's not a wall of separation except it says Congress shall make no law affecting the establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof. That means to the government, you stay out of our churches. And that's a part that we need to understand. And that lie has been told long enough. I want to share one thing on election. I'm on the ethics committee, which is where election integrity goes. And we have a bill that is moving, and you got to understand, it doesn't happen like this. It has to go through a process. But what we are working on right now is a paper ballot program. In its current state, you will go in, you will sign in appropriately, you will do what needs to be done there, and it will print out your ballot, of which you will fill out with a special ballot marking device called a pencil. And you will mark it, and it will go through. And we have worked on that. I believe it does this. It stops anybody that doesn't have a connection from being able to print a ballot falsely as far as that portion. Yes. I want to share something. My mother passed away, and I know some of y'all, and I appreciate your support. She was 96 years old, and she passed away. It's been 3 weeks ago. And man, she lived well as far as that portion. But I want to share this with the people. Last week, I got a letter. You know who I got a letter from? From the election board. And said, I want you to know, it says, we want to give our condolences that your mother has passed away, and we are removing her from the election rolls. Okay, so we bear with what I'm saying. Sometimes you're critical, but that I go, wow, it's working. And so that's a good thing from that standpoint. No. Let me give you three things that I'm working on that I want to, that I have in process that you need to be aware of. The first has been passed in Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas already. That is the ability to have gold as a tenure and to have transactional gold. Now here's what that means to you. Gold, in 71 we were pulled off the gold standard. What this allows you to do is to own gold, and this is constitutional. If you go back to Article 1, Section 10, it says states cannot issue currency, but they can have gold and silver depositories. Okay? And if you have had gold, I'll give you this, the last year, it has done phenomenally well. It's trading at least $3,300 an ounce. But the next issue that we have also addressed in these other states is this. It is the ability to have transactional gold. So I have, here's a MasterCard right here that goes to my gold account. I can walk into Chick-fil-A and I can run it through the credit thing, and I can spend my gold fractionally. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So that the average citizen can own gold, hold that, but yet they can spend it. And we're working through that. I believe this, with Governor DeSantis signing off on it. We've had Louisiana, the state of Texas, and Arkansas, Governor Sanders. We are seeing a move. And here's what it does. It stops, to a great degree, central bank digital currency. Understanding this, every time our nation prints money they don't have, it makes your money and my money worth less. Yes. And what this does, it allows you, the average citizen, to be able to hold gold in a state-protected vault, if you will, but yet have the ability to print it, or to spend it. And I believe that's good. We're seeing Bitcoin come about. Some people may have Bitcoin, but gold has been around for 6,000 years. And I believe it's something that we can do as far as that. But I believe it's a way that the average person, I said this, we got a gold dome over Georgia that's funded with, that comes from Dahlonega, but the people of Georgia should also be able to have gold and spend it properly. He's coming quickly. I got two quick ones and I'll be done. Okay. Okay, no, please. The other is this bill has been filed, we'll hear it in the next section, is to do this. Every school board will be required to vote to put chaplains in the schools. Now let me explain a couple of things. We have them in the military, fire, football. You've got chaplains. The University of Georgia football team's got chaplains. What this does is, I call it this way, it's playing basketball 5-on-5 and giving the other team an extra player, give them number 6. And what the school board has to do, we're not forcing it, they have to vote publicly of whether they want chaplains or not have chaplains. They can be voluntary or they can be paid. But here's the part. Most of them, we want them trained in active shooter and stop the bleed, and we want them to be able to. And if a teacher has a problem, they can say, let me give you the chaplain. Rather than disrupt class, it's there. A chaplain also is unlike a counselor, because a counselor has to write down and document everything that's done, where a chaplain is responsible to keep that person safe and to keep that person from harming someone. And I believe that chaplains in our schools, if the safety of our children is important, we need to see that going on in our schools. So if y'all will, rattle the cage, tell them we need it, and talk to your school board. Last thing is this actually came from a constituent in Peachtree City. He was a student at Mercer University playing intramural soccer. He was hit in the chest with the ball. His heart stopped. They called 911 but couldn't find the AED, and that one was locked in the building. On the same day, they were playing a collegiate game on campus, and that soccer player was hit in the chest, and his heart stopped. But because it was an intercollegiate game, guess what? They had an AED on field, and he was applied to him, and he survived. And what I want to do is I want to name this after the Sales family, their son, and here's what it would do. It would simply say this: if you are a 911 that serves a college campus, you will have a listing of where every AED is, so that when they call, you can say it's down the street a half block or whatever it is, but they will be able to have it in place. That's a simple thing that we can do and pull together, and it would have changed the life of a family from that standpoint. I know my time is short, but I just say this: I'm honored. Thank you for that. Thank you for being able to serve. I believe this. I believe America's best days are ahead. I'm going to close with this. The politician and the preacher die and go to heaven. And they get to the gates, and St. Peter looks at the screen and says, "Oh, okay, wow, y'all are here." And so he says, "Let me say, okay, well, I'm going to show you your houses." So they take the preacher and they show this house, and it's a little one-room house with a bedroom. And the politician is just going, "Man, this what, I wonder what I'm going to get, a tent?" And so he goes out, and so the pastor goes to his house, and then St. Peter takes him to his place, and it's a mansion. And he looks at Peter and he says, "Peter, I don't understand this. How is this right?" He said, "Oh, you don't understand. We got thousands of pastors up here, but you're the first politician to ever make it." So, with that, God bless you. Thank you for all you do. If you would like, there's a summary of the bills that were passed. There's one on gold. There's one on chaplains. There's one on the AEDs. If you want to pick one of those up, just read them. Make sure you get the right one. But that might give you a little idea of what we're going through and what we're working through. So go for it.